I was going about my life, but I wasn't really happy.
I kept thinking there must be more to life, but I couldn't figure out what it might be.
I was browsing at the bookstore and I saw the cover of a book that drew my attention.
A friend gave me a book.
I heard someone talking about an amazing book they had read.
It was Autobiography of a Yogi, and it changed my life.
It's called Autobiography of a Yogi, and it transformed my life.
When I saw the picture of Paramahansa Yogananda on the cover of his book, Autobiography of a Yogi, I just knew from some place deep inside my heart that he had an important message for me. And I was right. His presence in my life has changed everything. Paramahansa Yogananda was the first yoga master of India to take a permanent residence in the West. Yogananda arrived in America in 1920 and traveled throughout the United States on what he called his spiritual campaigns. His enthusiastic audiences filled the largest halls in America. Hundreds of thousands came to see the yogi from India. Yogananda continued to lecture and write until his passing in 1952. Yogananda's initial impact was truly impressive, but his lasting impact has been even greater. Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi helped launch a spiritual revolution in the West. His message was non-sectarian and universal. Yogananda's guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, sent him to the West with the admonition, "The West is high in material attainments, but lacking in spiritual understanding. It is God's will that you play a role in teaching mankind the value of balancing the material with an inner spiritual life." In 1948, a young American named Donald Walters read the Autobiography of a Yogi and couldn't wait more than a day to get on a bus and head across the country to meet Yogananda. His first words when meeting Yogananda were, "I want to be your disciple." Thus began the transformation of Donald Walters into Swami Kriyananda, who has become one of the foremost direct disciples of Paramahansa Yogananda. For over 60 years, Swami Kriyananda's tireless efforts to share Yogananda's message of direct perception of God through the practice of Kriya Yoga and the balanced lifestyle that allows one to fulfill and enjoy whatever outward responsibilities a person chooses to take on has transformed the lives of thousands of people.
I had no idea you could feel the peace of spirit and also interact with society.
Once I started practicing the meditation techniques that Yogananda taught, I began to exchange my daily stresses for a joyful, enthusiastic feeling.
I never really understood my spiritual heritage as an Indian until I began to experience the spiritual life not only through outward rituals but in deep silence and peace within my soul. I am deeply thankful to Swami Kriyananda for reminding us that Yogananda's message wasn't only for the West but for us here in India as well.
I wanted to become a hermit. I wanted to know God. And I didn't know how. And then I found Autobiography of a Yogi. Now I know that many of you have read that book. Perhaps all of you have read it. I also know that many of you think that, well, here, I don't know you, I don't say you specifically, but many people in India think, here is this sweet and wonderful young man who had the grace and the wonderful opportunity to meet all these great saints. Well, when I read that book, I said, this is what I want. I took the next bus from New York to Los Angeles, where he was living, a journey of 4 days and 4 nights. The first thing I said to him was, I want to be your disciple. I have never had the least doubt on that score in my life. I lived with this great man of God from 1948 until now, nearly 60 years. He passed away in 1952, and he asked me, he said to me, you have a great work to do. And I didn't want to do a great work. I tried to get away from it. I tried to get him to change his mind. What I really wanted was to be a hermit. Well, that has not been my karma. And I am grateful that it is not, because when I came to him, I had 2 desires. One was to know God, but the other was to find some way of sharing inspiration with others. I thought people are wandering in darkness. Their materialism has given them so much outwardly, and what have they got? They gather together and talk about nothing. They work, and at the end of it all, when people in my dad's company retired at the age of 65, within 2 years they were either dead or senile. They'd lost interest, they had nothing to live for. What kind of a life is that? We have been born for a noble purpose. And when I came to India, my guru often said that someday America and India will join hands and lead the world on the path of Dharma, on the path of how to live rightly in this world, spiritually as well as materially.
Paramhansa Yogananda's message of self-realization through the practices and teachings of Raja Yoga and the tradition of Sanatana Dharma includes the understanding that inner spiritual development will at the same time allow one to be even more successful in outward endeavors. Through energization, concentration, development of willpower, intuitive creativity, and learning to live in harmony with all of life, each person can achieve their highest potential inwardly and outwardly. In order to share this dynamically joyful way of life, in 1968, Swami Kriyananda started Ananda Sangha. Since its humble beginnings as a meditation retreat center in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains of Northern California, Ananda Sangha has grown into an international NGO with 8 communities where over 1,000 people live, 2 internationally recognized guest retreat facilities, and a number of successful businesses that have proven the practical value of bringing the spiritual life into every daily endeavor. Swami Kriyananda is the author of over 90 books in which he shares a multitude of ways to enrich and deepen our understanding about how life works and how to find personal harmony by living in tune with the way life is made. As the composer of over 400 pieces of music, Swami Kriyananda has shown that while yoga is a science, it is also an art. Through the inner attunement of meditation, we can learn to sing the song of our lives with a melody and harmony that truly expresses our highest aspirations. Swami Kriyananda is also known for his discourses on wide-ranging subjects. He can be seen on cable television and the Ananda Sangha websites, where many of his talks are available as streaming videos. Today, even over the age of 80 years, Swami Kriyananda is working to spread Yogananda's message all across India. He has made his residence in India for over 5 years now and is doing his utmost to show Indians the practical value of the way of life that Paramhansa Yogananda encouraged. Today, Ananda India is sharing the soul-liberating technique of Kriya Yoga in all of the major cities of India. One of Paramhansa Yogananda's aims, as written in the original 1946 autobiography of a yogi, was to spread a spirit of brotherhood among all peoples and to aid in establishing in many countries self-sustaining world brotherhood colonies for plain living and high thinking.
The Master in this lifetime just spoke every single Sunday that I ever heard him speak about building communities. He'd try to get everybody enthusiastic. In 1949, there was that garden party in Beverly Hills in which he spoke. I never heard such a powerful lecture in my life. But he said that thousands of youth must go north, south, east, west, everywhere to spread this world brotherhood colony ideal. There were about 800 people there. I'm the only person who really did it. But he told me I had a work to do like this. And we and you are the result of that. And when people have seen our people, all of us, they have said, this is good, I want to follow it, I want to do something like it. That's the way you can change people. You don't change them by telling them what to do. You change them by doing something that they will find so attractive that they will do it on their own. And this is how Ananda has grown.
Ananda Sangha is now establishing its first Indian World Brotherhood colony in Pune. On this site, a temple, guest retreat facility, and a community for families, including Ananda's Living Wisdom educational system for youth, is being constructed. Ananda India is also creating a spiritual economy through its businesses like Ananda Solar Power, Harmony at Work, which offers corporate training programs, Ananda Pilgrimages, which brings truth seekers from around the world to holy shrines throughout India, Anjali Khadi Clothing, which provides jobs for villagers while creating natural cotton and silk clothing, the Wishing Tree gift shop in the Metropolitan Mall in Gurgaon, and the beginning of the Living Wisdom schools, where youth can receive how to live education along with academic training. In the future, Ananda India hopes to include more communities, meditation centers, an elderly hostel, and orphanage. We invite you to join with us in helping to bring the ideals that Paramhansa Yogananda and Swami Kriyananda have dedicated their lives to sharing with all mankind.
Since finding Ananda Sangha, I have found the support I need to really push forward with my spiritual life.
Anand means joy, and the Ananda way of life is truly joyful inside and outside. Participation with Ananda Sangha can take many forms. We hope you will contact us and give us the opportunity to see how we can include you in our circle of joy.